Have you ever gone to school without eating due to lack of food at home? Have you ever gone to school without school supplies? Or without weather-appropriate clothes, simply because your family didn't have the means to provide these to you? Well, this is the reality for many young students across Canada today. In this short documentary, I will be looking into the harsh realities of young students from low socioeconomic backgrounds, its effects on their schooling, and looking into what is currently being done to deal with this issue. Now let's look at some statistics. In Canada, they say 1 in 10 children live in poverty. Also, 1 in 5 children across Canada don't eat breakfast, and this does not include those who don't have time or don't feel hungry. Now, this amount is even higher for children in Indigenous communities, as the ratio is now 1 in 2. And among immigrants and newcomers, the risk is 2.5 times higher than the general population. In addition to this, 35% of school-aged children in Canada begin the school year without the necessary supplies, according to a survey of Canadian teachers and educators. Without these necessities like breakfast before school, school supplies, or adequate clothing, it can cause a variety of issues, such as chronic illnesses, including asthma, diabetes, and heart disease. It can also cause mental health problems such as poor self-esteem and anxiety, as well as various forms of bullying. During the Family Day long weekend, my family and I traveled down to Huntsville, Alabama, and while we were there, I had the honor of hearing the inspirational words of Martin Luther King Jr. III, an American human rights advocate and community activist who is also the eldest son of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
We can and we must do better. Our nation is judged by how it treats its most precious resource. Certainly our most precious resource is our children. And if someone was to come here from another planet and raise the question, how are we treating our young people? They would have to say we're not yet making the mark. We can and we must and we will do better.
These few but powerful words really did stand out. What exactly are teachers, schools, and society doing to help students who are at a disadvantage in the classrooms? As said by Dr. King, we can, we will, and we must do better. For my field placement, I had the amazing opportunity to shadow and interview Vice Principal Rosalie Griffith at Northview Heights Secondary School in Toronto.
Part of my purchases every year, my school supplies, was done at the grocery store because I knew as a teacher that if my kids were hungry, they didn't perform as well academically. That school implemented a breakfast program that was done full school-wide, and how it had an impact on students in terms of their behavior, in terms of their academics, in terms of their ability to engage. So, that's just basics. Having the ability to tap into community or government resources, having the ability to have social workers or counselors that as a teacher, as an administrator, that we know who to go to, so that if we know that right now there's a family in crisis, if we know right now that this child's not eating, that we know who to go to kind of link them. Making sure that educators can easily access those things to help the kids and their families, I think is really important. It's vital that those emergency services and access to them are available and known in education.
The story of class and socioeconomic inequalities is an important one to tell, as it is one that is often overlooked within our society. Programs such as the Breakfast Clubs of Canada and Start to Finish to provide equitable means for those who are at a disadvantage to be able to have equal opportunities as everyone else. As future educators, it is important for us to really understand that students come from all different backgrounds and that we're not at all at the same level. It is therefore crucial for us to break down these barriers in an equitable way to help students strive to be all that they can be. As said by Martin Luther King III, we can, we will, and we must do better.